Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and today I wanted to count down 7 of my picks for the most underrated Bring Me the Horizon songs of all time. Bring Me are an English rock band that have been super successful throughout multiple eras and phases, including member changeouts and also different soundscapes. They've been very experimental as they broke out from the scene of deathcore and metalcore into something that touched on pop music, electronic, hard rock, alternative. They've been around the block and back again, but here they are, standing tall as now one of the most popular bands in the entire world. As much of a household name as they might be at this point, I still feel that they have underrated material, songs that aren't necessarily appreciated and discussed the way that many of their singles or even some of the fan favorites are. Essentially, this is me putting a spotlight on tracks that I think deserve more love, and while I can't contain them all in one episode of Lucky 7, I hope that you enjoy the ones that I do pick. Hit the comments down below and let me know what you think of my discussions, and of course, anything that you would like to see in maybe a part 2. But for now, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and check the playlist on screen now, or else at the end of the video if you want to see me talk about Bring Me even more.
Where do you start when you know it has to end?
I Don't Know What to Say is the closing track from Amo, and it was written in dedication and in memoriam to Ali Sykes' childhood friend Aiden, who passed away after an aggressive battle with cancer in 2017. This is absolutely a tearjerker. It's a very moving song. The orchestral arrangements combined together with heavy guitars gives it a massive send-off feeling, and I love the fact that it has kind of a fake-out ending where you think everything's about to go away, and then a tidal wave sweeps right back over you. This is an insanely good closer from an album that is a mixed bag in many ways, but there's no doubt about I Don't Know What to Say. This is a missile strike straight to the heart, an album closer that's done so well, so tastefully, but then again, Bring Me pretty much always do that.
Give me all you got. They'll never stop until they see it fall. So let's run.
The feeling of being invisible, almost like you don't exist, is right at the core of Run, a track from That's the Spirit, which is already a great record that combined many of their styles. I think a lot of people saw this as some sort of sellout moment, and while there are legitimate moments that I think Bring Me are deserving of criticism, this track and this album are not one of those. It's the existential crisis of feeling like a grain of sand in this huge world, something where maybe you stare up at the sky at night and wonder, do I matter? Is anything really important at all? And it's a very relatable, unfortunate feeling that can really fuck with your subconscious. There's chopped up vocal samples at the start of the song, and for the longest time I had no idea what they were saying, but apparently it's Ollie and Jordan screaming, "We let anything go," but it's processed and filtered and spread throughout the track, and I really think it works. It has this very 90s leaning, almost dark wave meets hard rock sound that they pull off so incredibly well. It's just a refreshing take on an album that had a whole lot of those moments.
Hold me out and hold me down. Let's find out why.
Bring Me the Horizon gone punk? Or else maybe post-hardcore? I don't know what it is, but Chasing Rainbows absolutely works, and it kind of reminds me of a band like Thursday that are already underrated themselves. Unfortunately for us, Chasing Rainbows is not currently on streaming, and I get why it wasn't quite the right fit for the album Sempiternal with its more raw sound, but I love these scowling guitars that feel like they're fermented over some hot coals. It's really just a brutal moment of depression.
Yo, did somebody say brutal? I heard my alarm going off.
No. You were not supposed to be here. You were not allowed to be here. Restraining order? Does that mean anything to you?
Fine then. Fuck you, John. I'm making cupcakes and you're not getting any of them.
Everything's topped off by a big rough around the edges drum performance. I just love Ollie's vocals on this track, and I wish more people knew about it.
My love, you're in my heart. It was preordained that we should part.
For the life of me, pre-2010, I could not get into Bring Me the Horizon, and I think a lot of that had to do with them feeling just so whacked out Super Saiyan scene, But this track, it was written in blood, gave a fresh perspective to me and I think a lot of other people. It showed that they had a lot of creativity in their bones and that Ollie Sykes in particular wanted to do different things, not only vocally, but with the rest of the band as they got more collaborative. And that's something that took even deeper roots when Jordan Fish joined in the Sempiternal era. But for now, this was a moment that absolutely screamed, we have a future. This was penned after Ollie was heavily moved by the poet, forgive me for the pronunciation, Sergei Alexandrov Asin's final poem, Goodbye, My Friend, Goodbye? Yeah, I don't think I said that right at all. You could probably tell by listening to the lyrics of this song that they are poetic in many ways, and it talks about the original author of the poem in his final hours as he turned suicidal, as he felt like the world was not something that he could bear for any longer. And I think that this song does a fantastic job at not only accenting something different for Bring Me with those chugging bass grooves and also the range of vocals that Ollie presents, but also the deeper subject matter that saw just a twist away from something that they'd really done up to that point in time. Resident Evil fanboy in the house here, and I feel it's my self-appointed duty as an honorary citizen of Raccoon City, due to the sheer amount of time that I've given that universe, that of course I'm going to put Dear Diary on the list, not only for its Resident Evil influences galore that are written in blood all over this. My god, this song goes so hard, my jaw was on the floor with my first play of post-human survival horror. But this one in particular references the Keeper's Diary from the first original game, where it says itchy, tasty, and of course Ollie Sykes sings those exact words. It feels like somebody succumbing to the T-virus, the zombie virus, if you're not familiar with those games. Dear Diary is a ballistic, vicious tune. I mean, the laughs at the end are maniacal, the breakdown is fucking sick, and Lee's slamming riffs all throughout that he recorded using a guitar from the early days of the band. I'm talking like Count Your Blessings. That's awesome, and of course it's all done with much better production.
Like an ocean to swallow us alive. You say you swear to God, now swear to me.
I'm willing to bet that a lot of you didn't know that this existed until this moment in time, or maybe you wanted to forget about it because you thought it was heresy back in the day, and don't get me wrong, I hated it when it dropped back in 2014. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate this more, not just because it's experimental, but more so because they were thinking outside of the box, but they also made it work within their own universe. Famous radio DJ Zane Lowe got ambitious with the Radio 1 Rescores project, and the whole idea was to remix the iconic Drive film soundtrack, so of course it was heresy right out of the gate. You can't touch perfection. That's one of the best soundtracks for a film of all time, if you ask me. But that doesn't mean that there can't be great songs that came from that idea, and not to call this one of Bring Me's all-time best, I just think that it's aged better than I think a lot of people wanted it to. I hated Don't Look Down when it dropped. I was like, what the fuck are Bring Me the Horizon thinking here? And they've got the guy from Foreign Beggars contributing vocals? This doesn't work. But I do think that it's aged better than it has any right to, and I appreciate the experimental tones, the heavier guitars, the way that they combine that with dance music, and in fact, I like this better than anything that I've actually heard from their Music to Listen To project. There Is a Hell is their lost in translation masterpiece because it was stuck between two worlds. They had the scene days, and then they had the more successful mainstream days where they had a major label, and then there's this album, just right smack dab in the middle, still very, very heavy, very aggressive, but also a little bit more melodic and very slept on. Visions was the track I ended up picking, although there's a few others that I definitely considered, but I wanted to be fair and pick songs from all different projects. This is a very tattered and scattered track that's all over the place mentally as it sees Ollie Sykes trying to break out of his own mind's prison as he's trying to run from drug addiction. And that's a familiar topic. During that era, of course Sempiternal as well, there's a lot of songs about him trying to get out of his ketamine addiction. It was a very dark dark time for him, but I appreciate how well he channels that anger. He has a wide range of emotions, even in his voice. Gutturals, melodic screams, the bridge of the track, it's all cataclysmically, euphorically incredible. And I appreciate this song for everything it delivers, and I appreciate There Is a Hell for the moment in time that it existed, where Bring Me were this band that were just constantly evolving, forward thinking, and this was maybe the first big piece of the puzzle. What did you guys think about my picks for the most underrated Bring Me the Horizon songs of all time? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and of course, add any others that you maybe think I should consider if I do a part 2. Please hit the like button, help me get this to 1,000 likes if you do want to see that. If you want to check out more of my Bring Me content, then check out this playlist right here, or tap here for another list of underrated songs. Socials in the description, and I'll be back soon for more on ARTV.